Hey, what's up, Geek Army? Happy New Year. I do not know what the rule is on wishing people for New Year. By the time this video is out, it could be end of January, but still a very happy New Year from me. Last year was amazing with so many changes to my website, Deployrr, and this YouTube channel. There is no greater feeling than doing what you love and being valued and appreciated for it. The support I have received from you guys has been awesome and I truly appreciate that. In this casual talk, I'm going to touch on three specific things. First, I will show you some of the big updates that I made on my Simple-Homelab, share some big changes that are about to happen, and finally address some of the drama around Deployrr that I find quite disheartening. If you do not like drama, feel free to leave halfway, but everybody likes a little bit of drama, so I hope that you will stick around. Okay, let's dive in. First, Homelab update. When I decided to get into YouTube last year, the first video I did was a tour of my home lab. Those of you who have followed my work for a while may know that I like to keep my home lab simple. So all I have is a NAS for storing some stuff and an Intel mini PC as my Proxmox server that runs various things, including Home Assistant, my Docker-based home server, media server, and so on. During fall last year, the underground fiber cable to my place stopped working and I had to live off a 5G modem for 2 months. I survived. Can you believe that? First world problems. Anyways, I took the opportunity to set up OPNSense firewall and move my routing over to it. I'm not a networking guy or I knew nothing about OPNSense, but I did it. The biggest conundrum I had was whether to buy a dedicated firewall box or use my existing mini PC which had two 2.5 Gbps Ethernet ports. While I bought a dedicated firewall PC, I ended up not using it primarily because I hate having to set up and maintain multiple devices. It adds additional energy costs too. So what I ended up doing was to add a USB 3 2.5 Gbps adapter to my existing mini PC. I passed through the two onboard Ethernet ports to OPNSense for WAN and LAN interfaces and used the USB network port for Proxmox management. This way, I did not have to share the network port. I also added a 2.5 Gbps PoE switch and 3 unified access points that were collecting dust already. I'm still learning about OPNSense, but I believe I now have a solid home network that works for my purposes. If you want to learn more about this, let me know in the comment section and I will do some more videos on it. I feel like I'm maximizing the existing mini PC rather than making my home lab more complex by adding additional devices. Plus, my network is now portable. I can move my server to any upstream modem or a router in bridge mode and I have my home network intact. I know some of you would swear by a dedicated firewall PC, but this has worked great for me. All my Docker setups are still on my GitHub repository and I have been updating my guides over the last few weeks. So be sure to check those out. But I do realize that my guides, videos and Deployrr do go out of sync at times in terms of updates because my setup is constantly evolving and it is very hard to find time to keep everything updated. I try to do my best. It takes several tens of hours every week. So I apologize for any frustration that it might cause. But if you're stuck somewhere, hop onto my Discord server. It has nearly 2,000 members, quite active on various HomeLab topics, including Deployrr. The community is amazing and I have also helped out hundreds of people personally via screen sharing. The link is in the description below, so check it out. Next one is a big topic and something that I have been thinking about for at least 2 years. For those of you that have followed my work since 2010, I have rebranded a few times. I've been feeling that smarthomebeginner.com is too long and too specific to smart home. In reality, I cover very little of smart home stuff. Homelabbing is a general umbrella term that represents everything I do and want to share with you guys. Plus, I believe in keeping things simple and energy efficient. It is supposed to be a home lab and not a home data center. So I'm going to go with SimpleHomelab.com. As you can see, this channel's name has already changed. My GitHub username also changed, and quite soon my website will also move over to SimpleHomelab.com. I hope you guys can continue supporting me through this transition and beyond. That brings me to my next big topic. My website took a big hit in traffic over the last 2 years. Consequently, the ad revenue declined significantly to the point that starting this month, I removed ads altogether from my website as the money was not worth the loss of user experience. Is this the effect of AI? I have no clue, but I had to find ways to sustain what I do, so your support is even more important than before. You may have read my article where I described everything in detail. In response to the decline, I started memberships for those who wanted to support me for additional perks. But keep in mind that almost all of the content on my website is still free. I also launched Deployrr to fund my work. If you do not know what Deployrr is, then check out my intro video and also the detailed walkthrough. It automates Homelab setup, including traffic, AUTO-TRAEFIK, ARR apps, and much more. It builds a whole ecosystem for you as a starting point. I also started creating videos on YouTube, not as actively as I would like to, but about 27 videos last year, and I spent about $5,000 creating those. So without your support in the form of purchasing Deployrr or memberships, I could not have done that. Discord membership doubled and my YouTube subscribers went from 1,000 to over 7,000. Big enough to make me about $70 a month, but I could still use some growth there. So if you're still on the fence, please consider becoming a member or try out Deployrr. That brings us to the last point, which is to address some drama around Deployrr. To say that Deployrr evolved in 2024 would be an understatement. When I started Deployrr, known as AUTO-TRAEFIK at the time, I did it for one task only: to automate traffic setup. Some people who followed my guide still had issues because there were so many things to pay attention to, so it was easy to overlook certain things. Deployrr solved this problem. I won't bore you by listing all the changes. Feel free to check out the changelog and apps list in the Deployrr GitHub repository. Today, Deployrr supports over 125 apps including Traffic, Authentic, Authelia, Plex, Jellyfin, ARR apps, and much more. You can check out my Deployrr intro video or even try it for that matter. Many features are still free. The best part is you can also follow my guides which explain what Deployrr does in the background, so you can do that manually. This is where the drama comes in. First, some people are just categorically against apps that automate stuff because it does not teach anything to anyone, and when things break, the users are left hanging. Some people call me names just because I created Deployrr. The truth is, if you look at the feedback I've received, some people have learned a lot more and a lot faster using Deployrr than otherwise. Add to that, charging money for the app is exploiting, according to Mr. Buckwheat on Reddit. He hasn't used the app or even taken the time to learn what it does before spouting off absolutely incorrect and biased gibberish about Deployrr, and yet at the same time promoting his own videos which did completely different things than Deployrr. After the community members jumped in and challenged him, he chickened out and deleted his post. Here's the truth. I have been publishing on Homelab topics since 2010. I've had over 75 million views until 2023. I never charged 1 cent for 13 years. The moment I introduced some fundraising initiatives because my ad revenue was tanking, some people jumped to the conclusion and implied that I am the worst thing that can happen for the self-hosting community. Keep in mind that my videos on YouTube are still free. I have invested more time and money into it than what YouTube makes for me at this moment. Thanks to Deployrr for supporting these activities. My Docker traffic GitHub repository has over 3,000 stars, is still free and continually updated. My website, which is now ad-free, is also free, and I do not paywall critical content. And on top, go on to my Discord server and see for yourself how much time I spend supporting people, even those that are not members or Deployrr users. It's all public and you can see for yourself and see what the community has to say. I never expected the positive feedback I have received so far for Deployrr. It has been a rewarding experience developing and sharing it with the community. On January 1st, Deployrr usage crossed 1,000 domains. It is rated over 4.8 out of 5 by the users, and more importantly, the feedback I've received has overwhelmingly suggested that people have learned a lot by using Deployrr. If you think about it from the perspective of a newbie like I once was, there are so many things to learn and understand. Hardware, operating system, firewall, DNS, domains, YAML, Docker, Docker Compose, Linux, the list goes on. Most people give up at this point, nor do they have time to learn everything at the same time. In my opinion, Deployrr helps these people take that first intimidating step. If I'm lying, just log on to my Discord server and ask the question, see what the community says. I realize that Deployrr is not for everyone. I've never denied anyone a refund if it did not work for them. I'm putting my face out there. I'm not here to scam or exploit you like Mr. Buckwheat on Reddit claimed before showing his cowardice and deleting his post. Before I started YouTubing, people warned me about internet strangers and nobodies acting like superheroes. As I've explained in my other videos, initially, AUTO-TRAEFIK automated traffic setup. I wanted the name to imply what it did, so I called it AUTO-TRAEFIK. Then it evolved into more of an automated tool to set up a Homelab, including ARR apps. So with the feedback of my community, I named it Deployrr. In 2018 and 19 timeframe, there was no guide on the internet that was as detailed as my traffic guide. The amount of time I spent trying to figure out traffic and then re-explain it to the people in a way they understand it, no one would know. Same for Docker in 2016 and 17, and if we go even further back, Kodi, and even before that, Usenet and Couch Potato. 75 million readers help for free. It's not a joke. Okay, but Dave's issue seems to be with my naming. While ARR branding may have started with apps like Radar and Sonar, I believe that ARR apps resonate more with Homelab's app than just apps that help you aggregate media. In fact, if you check the list of ARR apps, there are many non-traditional ARR apps there. I wanted Deployrr to immediately connect with the Homelab community, and that is why I chose the name. Now, if you have a problem with me calling Deployrr an ARR app, then it is an opinion and everyone has the right to have one. I respect opinions but despise judgments, especially about something you haven't taken the time to educate yourself. Just look at the post Dave is responding to. That is the person who is expressing his opinion without jumping to conclusions about the character of a person. You want to know how much time I spent on my Discord server helping others? Just hop in and post it publicly and see what the community says. Oh, by the way, my Discord server is free. Here's the thing. Deployrr has funded these free YouTube videos and helped me pay the costs for running my website, which is easily several $100s a month. I'm not even including my compensation for the time and effort that I put in. In addition, Deployrr has helped me sponsor some of the open source apps we love as Homelab users. So I use the name Deployrr. Is that so bad when you consider that so many people are learning about Docker and Homelab while also funding my free content and donations to various projects? I wanted it to imply what it does, which is to deploy a Homelab Docker stack, including ARR apps. This is the truth behind it. Again, I'm not here to pick a fight or compare because at the end of the day, we're all in the same community. Having a negative opinion on something I do, that I can respect. But if you are coming after my character, then you better have your facts straight. Again, I could be wrong with many things that I said today. In fact, If the facts that I presented are wrong, I will apologize publicly. I won't be a coward like Mr. Buckwheat and delete this video. People who know me know that picking arguments is not my thing, but I will stand up against what is not true. Let's not be so judgmental before knowing a person or the facts. Have a great year of home labbing. Peace.